Yo, what's up, guys? You got II here today, back again, once again, bringing you the playoff team builder and match versus Turk, round one for Hive, season 3, Beedrill. Now, we played Turk week 1, I believe, and we came out on top, mostly thanks to Toxic Spike's Greninja, so we're bringing that again, but without further ado, if you don't remember Turk's team, I have it here with Kieran Black, Z, Blastophilon Z, Gliscor, Mega Aggron, Azumarill, Rotom Heat, Tessarina, Alolan version, Z, Audino, Heracross, and Weezing. He still has the very threatening Z Kieran Black, and of course, Heracross. And my team over here is not the team I actually had. This is my NPL Miners team, but regardless, you guys pretty much know what I have. I have Greninja and Polion, Mega Kangaskhan, Mimikyu, Necrozma, Nidoking. I also have Hawlucha, Tapu Bulu, Turtonator, and Electroid, I believe. I'm probably missing one Mon there, but that's irrelevant. So looking at his team once more, I've decided that Toxic Spikes on Greninja is essential to winning this match. So that's what I'm doing with the Focus Sash once more, with the Scald to potentially burn Mega Aggron if he does decide to leave with it. Low Kick in order to 2-hit KO. Kieran Black. Water Shuriken is for priority just in case he's Scarf Rotom Heat, or in case he's like Scarf Heracross. So the idea behind that is they put me in taunt range and I Water Shuriken, get a lot of damage off, etc., etc. But yeah, I have enough speed, outspeed, max speed, Blastophilon, which is also coincidentally what the Water Shuriken is for. Enough special attack, or enough attack, I believe, in order to KO Kieran Black with the low kick, and then the rest dumped into special attack. But yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Next up, we have Phyllis the Empoleon with something new. So I'm kind of bringing the same team I brought week 1 versus Turk, except I've changed some things up. So instead of a defensive Empoleon like I brought week 1, I decided, you know what, maybe Turk will expect me to bring the same thing just because it worked so well the first time. Well, that's going to be a disappointment for him, because this week I'm bringing Waconberry, Agility, Flash Cannon, Surf, and Workup. Oh, Agility. What? That's not going to work. It's an Empoleon. Empoleon's trash. No. Well, sometimes it's trash, but that's not the point. It could have potential to work. Agility is obviously so I can boost up the speeds faster than actually his Blastophilon if it is Scarfed. Flash Cannon is to hit the Karen Black. Waconberry is to take those Fusion Bolts from Karen Black, and then Work Up is to actually set up on Audino if he does decide to bring it as a special defense of Wall. Audino could have the Encore, but no one ever will expect Work Up. So that's the idea behind that. Hopefully, he can put in work, but if not, then this is definitely one of the most heat sets I've brought the entire season. So I am hoping it's going to work, but if it doesn't, oh well. Next up, we have Pam, the Mega Kangaskhan, bringing another Spadef variant of Kangaskhan, as I did week 1 with the Wish Protect, Earthquake, Body Slam. Moveset is still the same. Only difference this week is that I'm bringing enough speed to outspeed Adamant Heracross. Last time I brought enough speed to outspeed Jolly Heracross, but this week I'm bringing enough speed to outspeed Adamant, mainly because if he does bring Heracross, it's probably going to be Adamant. If it's Adamant and Scarfed, it will outspeed me regardless, so I figure there's really no point in putting his speed in for that. Plus, I'd like some more Spadef investment for the Blastophilon in case that becomes a bit of an issue. Body Slam is to catch the Mega Aggron on a para, or potentially a Gliscor if he does decide to hard switch that in. And then Earthquake is for the Blastophilon and Mega Aggron, although that's not going to do much. But yeah. Next up, we have Toby the Mimikyu. Swords Dance, Play Rough, Shadow Sneak, and Shadow Claw. So I'm bringing Mimikyu this week mainly. So for two things mainly. I can decide to either A, use it as a win con in the back, or B, use it as a spin blocker. Depending on the team he brings, I will either use it as a win con or use it as a spin blocker. If this team's really weak to Toxic Spikes, then most likely I will use it as a spin blocker, or if he has like a lot of threats that are really bulky and good versus Mimikyu, then I also might use it as a spin blocker. Or if he brings a lot of things weak to it, like Aldino, Heracross, like maybe Blastophilon, Rotom Heat, Kieran Black, the Mega Aggron I might use as a win con, but we'll see how that plays out. Next up we have Necrozma with the Stealth Rock, Photon Geyser, Heat Wave, and Moonlight. With the Tangaberry, obviously this is so I can take a hit from Flame Orb, Adamant Adamant Heracross's Mega Horn. I can take that relatively well. Enough speed, I believe, to outspeed Jolly Azumarill. Heat Wave is for the Mega Aggron. Photon Geyser is to hit everything hard. And then Moonlight is for recovery. This investment, I believe, allows me to one-hit KO the Heracross with the Photon Geyser. Also does a ton to Weezing, and it does some stuff to Rotom Heat and Azumarill. Heat Wave obviously helps versus a bulky Aggron. Depending on what type of Mega Aggron set he is, it could either do a lot or a little. But regardless, Mega Aggron can't really touch me besides with a Toxic, so I'm not too concerned about that. And last but not least, we are bringing, once again, Jim with a substitute Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, and Earth Power with the Life Orb. So I'm basically bringing the same set of Neoping that I brought week 1 versus Turk. I'm expecting him to expect me to bring substitute, so I probably won't go for it much this match if he does bring like an Audino with Encore. I know he mentioned last match that he regretted not having a move on Audino to hit Nidoking through the sub, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. But without further ado, let's get right into the match. And we are on the wrong side, so let me just switch that real quick, pause the game. Alright, so he has a team of Audino. Actually, he has a team of Audino, Kyurem, Black, Blastophilon, Tisserina, Mega Aggron, and Gliscor. Potential spinner in Tisserina, or it could be a Scarf variant potentially. Potential Defogger in Gliscor, and then potential Rocker in Mega Aggron. So, looking at his team, Toxic Spikes are important, but they're not essential. So at this point in the match, I'm looking at Mimikyu as a potential win con. If Tisserina does outspeed, then I will know he is Scarfed, and I actually don't want to risk that turn 1. I don't have Ice Beam to hit Tisserina, and I don't want to have him break my sash just yet. Like I said, I'm not sure if Toxic Spikes are essential to me winning the game at this point. And I know Mega Kangaskhan can take any hit, even if it is banded Power Whip, which I will be able to scout the damage for now, as he goes for the Power Whip and he misses, and that's unfortunate for him. Again, I'm bulky, so I did take 2, I believe, and I could have gone for a Wish next turn, but he misses there, so now I'm free to go for the Body Slam. As he switches in Gliscor, which I'm not sure if that was his best call, but regardless, he does that. Potentially could get a para here. I do not get a para, surprisingly, as he gets the Toxic Orb back up. Now, at this point, I think he wants to go for Rocks, so I'm going to go into the Greninja. I do not have Defog on this team. Regardless of what he went for, I needed Greninja in Pronto, just so I can use the Sash to my advantage. As he does go for the Toxic, interestingly enough, maybe expecting me to bring in Gliscor, or not Gliscor, maybe expecting me to bring in Necrozma, or staying in. So I go into Greninja there. Not too worried about Toxic here. I can either go for a Scald at this point, or I can go get a Toxic Spike up. I believe I just go for the Toxic Spike. I want to pressure him, and I want to force him to potentially spin. So I'm still not sure what set he is at this point, so I go into Mimikyu. And at this point in the match, I decide, you know what? I want Toxic Spikes up, and I want to potentially win this game with either stalling him out with Mega Kangaskhan or winning with Agility and Bullion. So I go into Mimikyu here as he breaks the skies with U-turn, and that interests me because most of the time, this arena runs U-turn on like Scarf users or something along those lines. So I'm starting to think that maybe he's a bit offensive. He goes into Mega Aggron there. If he had Defog on Gliscor, that might have been the play at that point, but I'm guessing you just wanted to Mega Evolve at this point and either get some damage off or get rocks up. My switching is always Necrozma, so I go into Necrozma there. Toxic will hurt, but it's not the worst thing in the world as he just goes for an Earthquake, which is great for me. That's the best case scenario that he could have gone for. Stealth Rock would have been a lot worse for me. Toxic would have been a lot worse for me, but now I am free to either get a hit off or go for Stealth Rock. I think he wants to switch, so I do go for the Young Rocks, get them up, and now his team is pressured just how I like them. Now I can go into Nidoking, and because Audino is poisoned, I can start throwing off Sludge Waves. He goes into this arena, and at this point, I'm in a fantastic position. He does not have a good switch into Nidoking, especially with the Toxic Spikes up, and I know that if he does outspeed, he will indeed be Scarfed, and if he is Scarfed, then he doesn't kill me. So I am free to go for the Sludge Wave, as he does reveal himself to be Scarfed and goes for the U-turn. Gliscor is a good switch in, of course. Again, I'm not sure how fast he made Gliscor, so at this point I know I can pretty much live an Earthquake as long as it's not super offensive, as he goes for the Roost, and that leads me to believe that he is almost max speed as I go for Nice Beam and almost get the kill there. At this point, I want to preserve Nidoking for Audino and things such like that in the back, so I go into Greninja. Again, Sash already broken, no big deal, as now I can fire off Torrent Scalds. And that is exactly what I do as he goes into Audino just to sponge the hit. And that's fine with me. I just need to get Gliscor out of the picture, as I can now go back into the Nidoking and start throwing off Sludge Waves. That's fantastic for me. Gliscor cannot come in because he is already weakened. So I go for Sludge Wave there, almost get the kill, but do not, as he goes for the knockoff, which kind of surprised me. I thought he would have changed it up a bit from the week 1 match we had, and instead of knockoff, maybe Hyper Voice or something along those lines to hit through a sub. But he goes for knockoff, which weakens my my hits considerably. But still, regardless, Sludge Wave is just my best play at this point. And now I go for the Sludge Wave once again. At this point, I expect Karen Black to kill me, and I'm looking to win with Empoleon. So my hope here is that Karen Black kills me. I go into Empoleon, agility up, and potentially weaken things on his team to the point where other things can clean up, such as Mimikyu or Kangaskhan. So I go for Sludge Wave again, just stack it off, but it turns out I have speed, which is interesting enough. I'm enough speed out. I have enough speed to speed tie with the Heracross if it's max speed. So I do kill the Kieran Black as he now goes into Gliscor. And again, my play is still the same. I'm sacking Nidoking so I can go into Empoleon, agility up, and potentially win the game. Will it work? Who knows? So I go into Empoleon here. I can live an Earthquake no matter what, even if he's adamant. I go for the agility at this point, so now I can now outspeed his entire team, as now is the perfect opportunity for me to go for a workup. Again, I do not kill with Flash Cannon at this range, and I know he cannot kill me with only one hit. He does go for the Power Whip, and that does put me in Torrent range. So this is fantastic news for me, as Surf is looking to be a powerful cleaner. He goes into Audino. I don't want to be locked into Flash Cannon, so I will go for the Surf, as he goes for the knockoff. Knocks off the Wakan Berry, and at this point, if I wasn't in Torrent before, I definitely am now, and Empoleon is looking extremely threatening. I go for the Surf, kill the Audino off, and now I just have to worry about potentially a Spadef Aggron, but even that's looking bleak for him, as I go for the Surf, kill the Mega Aggron off, and we pretty much sweep the game with agility workup Empoleon. They said it couldn't be done, but it's been done, and yeah, this was a really good game for me. I'm still kind of surprised it worked, but again, this was a heat set that would be difficult to predict, so I don't fault Turk for that at all. It was a good game. Things could have definitely gone differently if I played Empoleon differently, or if I what was I gonna say? Or if I messed around with Nidoking a bit differently. Power Whip turn 1 definitely sucked for him. It allowed me to play a bit differently than I might have done. Regardless, definitely a good game to Turk, and we move on to round 2 of playoffs, where I believe we are facing John W. So, wish us luck, and stay tuned for more Hive content.